Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binaries of all ages, welcome to How to Make a Literal Cat in Your Favorite RPG. Hope you're not here to learn how to do character creation the right way, because this is the Cat Creation Podcast. I'm one of your hosts. My name's Joel.
I'm the other one of your hosts. My name is Avalon.
So, Avalon, how are you on this fine evening?
I'm not doing too bad. Thinking about bisexual vampires.
Oh, okay.
That's a boost of serotonin in my brain. How are you doing, Joel? What you got on the mind?
Well, it's funny enough that you would mention bisexual vampires today, because we are playing, or at least making a character in, Urban Shadows, the urban fantasy tabletop RPG.
Ooh.
Also, I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. Anytime, buddy. But yeah, Urban Shadows. I've actually don't think I've heard of this one.
Really? They did it on Adventure Zone.
Did they? Okay, then yeah. I have heard of this one, but I probably didn't pay enough attention, I'm being real.
It's okay. It was before Amnesty.
Oh, it was one of the mini-sodes that they had? Yeah.
It was the, Old West supernatural murder mystery one.
Oh, right. Well, yeah.
Anyway, we're not going to be doing an Old Western in it because it's an urban fantasy.
Yeah, if you want us looking at Old West stuff, we just did a whole season on that. I mean, you can go look at the Wild West Winter eps.
So, this is very much like my favorite RPG, City of Mist, an urban fantasy RPG, also powered by the Apocalypse game, but this one sticks a little more closely to the Apocalypse World style of game.
Okay.
So, as you can see, we've got, actual different playbooks here, not just, the ability to mix and match stuff. We've got our regular old guys. We got our, the Tainted, the Wolf, the Fae, the Aware, the Hunter, the Imp, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, we got more, narrowed down stuff.
Yeah, we're actually fitting into those good old urban fantasy, Mortal Instruments type tropes.
I'm here for it,
You didn't get that reference, did you? It's okay.
Yeah, I never got into the Mortal Instruments stuff. Talked about it with a girl I used to go to high school with, but that's the extent of my knowledge.
I read all 6 of them and the Infernal Devices. Saw the movie, wasn't all that good. Haven't watched the TV show because I'm afraid it's going to be just as bad.
Yep.
That's where I'm at.
Valid skepticism right there.
Also, they never finished it, so how good could it have been?
Yeah, if they can't even commit to finishing the work, how can the readers?
Exactly. Anyway.
It's like Game of Thrones. Anyways.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so this is not literally the Mortal Instruments RPG, although you probably could get pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is Urban Shadows. It's all urban fantasy with the serial numbers filed off and thrown together.
Interesting. I'm excited to take a look at this. I love urban fantasy type stuff, so...
Yeah, honestly, it's a pretty cool vibe.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be right up my alley. But before we get into our character creation, or cat creation rather, we have rules to go over that are not in this playbook. They're rules for our show, and they're called the cat creation rules.
Yeah.
Would you like to start us off, Joel?
I would love to. Rule number 1, we accept no cop-outs. We're making a cat, the exact animal that comes to mind when I say the word. No anthropomorphic races, no people turned into cats, no lions, tigers, or any other cop-outs you can imagine.
Rule number 2 is we cannot use homebrew/house rules. If the rules in the rulebook don't let us do something, we count it as a rule broken.
I don't think that's relevant here. I mean, I guess they could have. The second edition of this game is 4 years old at this point. That's plenty of time for them to release expansions. I just didn't look into any and see if they existed.
That's fair. But yeah, just looking at the base game today.
Unless one of these playbooks is from an expansion, I have no way of knowing.
True.
Anyway, if the game includes stats for a literal cat, those must be used or adapted to the game's character sheet.
Do we have that?
No, it's powered by the Apocalypse game.
Yeah.
Of course we don't have that.
I was about to say, I'm assuming not since it's PBTA. Okay. So rule number 4 then is the character, class, background, playbook, job, what have you, must exist in the game's core rules or as part of an official expansion. But again, we cannot use homebrew classes. They're not real.
Yep. Homebrew, as we always say, is not real and it can't hurt you.
We won't let them get to you, dear listeners.
We'll keep you safe. from Homebrew. Rule number 5 is the cat can learn any skill available to its class, even if it's not something a cat could normally be trained to do.
Rule number 6 is if a tool would be physically impossible for a literal cat to use, even if comically downsized for them, they cannot use it.
You have any examples for us?
I'm going to say a wine bottle, like a cork opener. Probably can't use that. That definitely requires opposable thumbs.
What a shame, because, you know, in your urban fantasy stuff, someone drinking red wine that looks kind of like blood is a very, like, strong imagery to suggest someone might be a vampire.
Oh, yeah. Vampires love red wine.
Yeah, it's definitely red wine in that cup, guys. Don't worry about it.
Don't ask questions. Unless you want to be the next one in the cup. I mean,
you have something you want to tell us there? Or?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Rule number 7. If a character sheet has a section that is meant to be filled out in collaboration with the whole table, we leave that blank so people can make it fit the group they're playing with.
And lastly, rule number 8 is we have to keep track of every rule that we break, which usually not a lot.
Usually not a lot. Could happen a few times since this is a Powered by the Apocalypse game.
Yeah,
Sometimes happens with those.
Yeah, you never really know with the Apocalypse ones. Some of them are pretty loose, other ones are kind of strict, but I guess we'll figure that out as we get into it.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting into it, are we ready to get into it?
Yeah, we start down on page 60. There is a thing on page 59 that I want to bring up here, just because it could technically be a broken rule, about using city hubs. If your group is using a city hub, make sure to select your city hub before making characters. Your character is going to be tied heavily to that district of the city, and you are likely to find that starting with the city hub in mind helps you create much more cohesive cast of characters. We can't do that, obviously.
Yeah.
It would be in violation of Rule 7. But it could also be that not doing it is in violation of the game's rules. So, we'll do what we gotta do. But I'm just bringing it up because it might come into play that, like, we're making a character that will not fit all settings. Which I guess is always true now that I say that.
What? You're telling me you can't just drag and drop a cat into any setting?
Nah, this cat's gonna come with certain assumptions. I hate to say it, but...
I'm just gonna say you can drag and drop a cat into any setting if you're cool enough. I'm kidding.
Don't do that to your game master.
Yeah, don't harm them. They put in so much work.
Yeah, they want to create a specific vibe. All you gotta do is show up and roleplay in it, dude. Roll the dice when you're supposed to. Learn the game if you have the capacity to do that. It's gonna help everyone have a better time.
Absolutely.
Anyway, let's pick a playbook.
Okay, let's see. We have playbooks on page 109.
Yeah, but I also just have a list right here. I read some of them off earlier, but not in any particular order.
Yeah. Do you want to go down the list then?
Yeah, 1 second. So we've got the Fae, the Aware, the Hunter, the Imp, the Spectre, the Oracle, the Sworn, the Vamp, the Veteran, the Wizard, the Wolf, and the Tainted as our playbooks.
Interesting. So 12 playbooks.
Yep.
I notice here in the book they have parentheses next to them, and those are Mortalis, Wild, Power, and Night.
I do not know exactly what that means, but if I remember correctly from the Adventure Zone, like, this is a split of what characters are related to. So, like, Mortalis is, I think, just a mortal. The Fae and the Imp being wild, they are from the wild, essentially, the land of the Fae.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do not know the difference between Power and Night. Just, let's see. The Spectre was a ghost. Like, that was literally a ghost.
Yeah, the Night looks like things that typically come out in the night. So, the Spectre, the Vamp, the Wolf.
Oh, yeah, because the Wolf is like a werewolf kind of guy.
Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming that's what that means. And then Power looks like it's people, or characters, rather, with supernatural powers.
Oh, yeah, the Wizard is a power character.
The Wizard, the Oracle, the Sworn. Yeah, that's it. So, okay, interesting. So we have like a kind of these subsections that can help us pick. I don't know if we want to figure out what the cat would fit into first, or if we want to pick a playbook and then make a cat off that.
There's a few that I think just won't work.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we can do anything from Wild or Night and still have a literal cat.
Yeah. Power, we might be able to get away with, depending.
Cat Wizard.
A cat wizard. Love that idea. The one that I think would fit a literal cat the most would probably be the hunter, but that's one of those that seems so on the nose that I almost don't want to do.
Well, it's a member of a secret order.
That's true. We could play around in that space.
Yeah. When was the last time we made a cat wizard, though?
Long enough that I don't remember, but granted, that doesn't have to be that long. I have terrible memory.
Let's see. We made the cat alchemist in Maganomia.
Mm-hmm.
We made a cat witch in the Dark Eye. Is that it?
I think that might be it.
No, we had the gambling wizard from Deadlands.
Oh, was that one a wizard too?
Technically, they were a magic character, so yes.
Yeah, okay.
I guess not that long then.
Yeah, not that long, but we don't have that many that I think we could get away with another one.
Oh, there's always room for more cat wizards.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now, we don't have to do that now. Like, I still think the hunter might be a fun one to play around with.
Yeah, let me take a look. So I have all the sheets pulled up here. Here it is. Okay. The hunter says, determined and fearless, the hunter is immortal who has taken up a cause against the darkness around them, joining the fight alongside other hunters in the night. They carry a heavy burden, one that would eventually crush anyone. How long can they keep from becoming what they hunt? And then we've got some interesting moves here. Deadly, safe house, this way.
It's interesting that they say let it out on all the character sheets is like, let it out to activate these abilities. Because we all know that the hunter within loses control and you gotta let it out. But like...
I'm sorry, what? Is that a reference to something that I don't get?
You never heard the darkness of night falls around my soul, the hunter within loses control, gotta let it out?
No, not that I can think of.
Devil May Cry 5?
Okay, I've only played a little bit of Devil May Cry 1. I'm not to 5 yet.
Oh, okay. Me neither, but the music, the Devil May Cry 5 soundtrack is worth listening to, even if you're not gonna play the game.
Fair.
I think.
The only song I know from the Devil May Cry 5 soundtrack is the, crap, I don't know the name of it, but it's the one that people use with Virgil a lot. That's like, I am the storm that is approach. Yeah, that one.
What is that? Bury the Light?
Bury the Light. Yeah, that's it. I have listened to that one, and that one is a certified banger.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at the hunter, oh wow, they have so much stuff on the second page too.
Ooh, yeah, they got all the character creation instructions just laid out for us.
Love that. Yeah, I think we could easily make a cat with the hunter sheet.
Okay.
So I'm like, we could do that. If you want to, we can take a quick look at the wizard, but again,
yeah, okay.
Making a literal cat with wizard, be a little tough. You have to suspend
Wouldn't
your
be the weirdest. Yeah, it would. Hey, in a world where magic exists, the possibility of a cat wizard is low but never zero.
Exactly. Oh my god, you get a ward?
Oh, that's someone you've got to watch out for? Their safety is your sworn duty? Ooh, okay. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, that one's kind of hard to swing. So I think we should go with the hunter.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
Hunter's a pretty good choice, too. Let's see. So, name. Pick a name.
They do have a list here.
Yeah, they do have a list of names for us that would simplify things.
Ooh, I think this is supposed to be Elias, and it's a very interesting spelling of Elias. Ilyas.
Huh.
Because usually you see it spelled Elias.
Yeah.
They also got Solomon, and then they got like Sarah and Christopher. We could also pick our own. I don't think it's limiting us to these.
Yeah, we could totally just write in our own if we felt like it. But Solomon the Hunter as a cat.
It's got a nice ring to it.
It does. I am into it.
I think we could let's go. Solomon pronouns.
No, that's not his last name.
No. My name is Solomon Pronouns. Allow me to introduce myself.
You just did.
Okay, well, I'm more than just my name, but yeah, sure, let's go. God, what a character intro that would be. Can't wait for a movie to use that one.
Hello, my name is Name Pronouns.
It's like when you're talking about a character, it's like, oh yeah, Cloud Final Fantasy, just the name,
Yeah.
and then, or Steve Minecraft.
Yeah. With Steve from Minecraft, I'm used to hearing people throw in the from, at least.
Yeah, true, but
Or rather, Minecraft Steve is another one that I hear a lot.
yeah,
But Steve Minecraft, not used to that one.
Steve Minecraft. That's my new headcanon. That's his name. All right, so we have our name, Solomon the Hunter. Look, pick as many as apply. So we have androgynous, conforming, shifting, non-conforming. Then we have Asian or South Asian, Black, Hispanic / Latino, Indigenous, Middle Eastern, white, and then blank. So etc. Essentially.
Right.
Now.
So this is a cat.
Yeah, this is a cat. What kind of cat are we thinking? What's a good hunter cat? I know all cats are hunters, but
let's see. I feel like a black cat would be fitting if we're gonna be like urban hunting at night,
Mm-hmm.
We got the Bombays. They make black American short hairs. Make black British short hairs.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just make black short hair cats. Bombays are almost exclusively black, if I remember correctly.
Okay, we can do a Bombay.
Yeah, those are the ones. They got the kind of glossy fur. That's the stereotypical black cat.
Oh, got one of these in my house.
Oh, neat. Congratulations.
Her name is Suki, and she hates everyone. But not in like a I'm going to attack you way, more like in a I don't want to be near you way.
That's fair.
It is a treat though when like it's late at night and I'm about ready to go to bed and she finally runs up to me and is like, "Wait, I need to be pet at least once." She's like, "I don't actually hate you."
Gotta be on their terms though,
I mean, yeah, that's really all it is to a cat, like be a cat owner. It's just like let them do their thing, and then most of the time they'll like you because you're not imposing. All right, we have a black Bombay cat. Now it says pick clothing. Do we have any clothing on this cat? What if we just gave this? What if we just gave this cat a cloak, like a mini cloak?
Ooh, cat cloak. Okay.
I know those exist. Look at all these. God, so many pictures of cats and cloaks, man.
There are a lot of pictures of cats and cloaks.
Oh, that's a statue. That's not a real cat either.
Yeah, no, that's a cat girl. Those are different.
Those are banned on this show. I'll put cat cloak on
okay.
On the list. But were you about to apologize to cat girls out there?
Yeah, I was about to apologize to all the cat girl listeners in our audience, of which I'm pretty sure there's at least one.
I'm not going to call them out by name, but I have a friend that, if she listens, yes, we do have a cat girl listener.
Oh, then we got two.
Yeah. All right, sweet. Any other cat girl listeners out there, sorry that cat girls are banned from the character creation, but they are not banned from listening to our show. We accept you for who you are. Yeah. Oh, yet? So ominous. Okay, we have our name, our look, and now we need our demeanor. They only offer 4 for these. Calculating, detached, friendly, and volatile. What do we think Solomon is?
Probably a mix of all 4, but definitely either detached or friendly.
I like the idea of the cat being like really friendly with like other people, but like once he's in hunter mode, he's just like, don't mess with me. I got my eyes on target. Like,
yeah, fair enough. I mean, Bombay cats are traditionally very friendly and playful.
Okay, so yeah, we'll do friendly but reserved. Maybe would that be a good description?
Maybe.
I don't know if that would create an oxymoron of a cat.
Well, we typically accept that cats are showing friendliness by being up in your space.
Yes.
So if a cat is reserved, then it's not doing that.
Maybe we could do like friendly but intimidating or something like that. So
maybe, yeah.
One of those you don't really know where you stand until you have a conversation,
Yeah, but it's a cat, so can you even have a conversation with it?
I like to think so. Not with words, but you can have a conversation with body language, I feel like.
Fair enough. All right, so we get the starting stats of Blood 1, Heart -1, Mind 1, and Spirit 0. We can add +1 to one of these stats.
Is that what it says on here?
Yeah, Blood 1, Heart -1, Mind 1, Spirit 0.
They pre-filled this sheet wrong.
Interesting.
I think
well, this was a community resource from, one moment. Who was it from? One moment, I'm pulling up the page. This is from Cyberwolf201, available for free off their Patreon.
Sweet. Thank you, Cyberwolf201.
Yeah, and that's Wolf with a U in it. Anyway, yes.
All right.
They made these, so they weren't like spell checked by Magpie Games themselves. So there could be some minor errors in them. Let's just thank them for making this in the first place and ignore it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I don't care about minor errors. All I care about is the fact that we have a form fillable sheet, and that I love and commend you for.
Yes. On the other hand, minor spelling mistake, prepare to get roasted in the group chat.
Absolutely. It's going to be the only thing we talk about for the next year.
Yep. Just like we never let that one guy live down the grink.
The grink, man. Almost forgot about that.
Okay. Yeah, stranded in the desert for 5 months. When you get back, your friends are like, hey, was the grink there with you? Oh, because you said the Grinch wrong once.
I feel like it's a rite of passage, though. Just as a human, you got to get roasted for saying words wrong at some point.
Yeah, great post, though. Great post.
Oh, yeah. All-timer.
Anyway, let's get back on track.
Yes. So, starting character stats, we have listed down, but it says add 1 to one of these. Now, there's not a description on the character sheet of what these stats do, but perhaps the core rulebook will have a description.
It might have a description.
Character stats. Here we go. The 4 character stats are blood, heart, mind, and spirit. Blood is the measure of your character's toughness, instinct... this is on page 62 of the core rulebook, by the way. Blood is the measure of your character's toughness, instinct, and physical ability. It tells us how quickly your character acts in a dangerous situation and how well they can weather violence. Heart is the sum of your character's passion, charm, and charisma. It tells us how proficient your character is at getting what they want through negotiation and discussion. Probably going to stay at -1.
Well, we are friendly.
We are friendly, yes. So we could reasonably bump that up, actually. Mind is a reflection of your character's intellect, trickery, and perception. It tells us how observant your character is and how good they are at manipulating others through deceit. And finally, spirit is the level of your character's magical aptitude, inner strength, and willpower. It tells us how focused and determined your character is under pressure and how potent their supernatural powers might be.
Characters' main stats can never fall below -3, and only in rare cases will ever exceed +3. Makes sense? And we start out pretty low with these, as far as they go. Though, being a 2d6 dice system with a higher than 50% base odds of rolling a success, a +1 is still pretty good.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so what are we thinking? Do we want to put 1 into heart to make it 0 so that we can get that kind of friendly demeanor more prevalent in our character, or do we want to build...
I feel like even though it's a thing that hunters would normally be good at, I think we can't put it in blood.
Okay.
Because we are a small, unimposing creature by default. Someone would have to give this cat, like, more than a starting player's level training to boost that to a +2.
Valid.
Now, Heart, again, being a friendly character, we would have potentially a higher than average heart stat for a hunter. Mind, though, if we want an actually good stat, that might be the way to go.
Yeah.
It is also the crime stat. It is intellect, trickery, and perception.
Yes, so naturally. I think we could put a +2. Bump that mind up.
Sounds good to me.
Do you think they have rural shadows, or is it just urban?
You know, one moment. Let me Google that. Rural Shadows. The Rural Shadows podcast.
Oh?
A rural family coming out of the darkness bringing good music to the lovers.
Okay.
No, it doesn't seem like there's a Rural Shadows RPG, but there is a podcast of music? ?
That's what it sounds like. You know, when you said you were going to Google it, I thought you were just going to get like some weird cryptids or something.
You know, I considered that a possibility. It's not what came up, though. And when I saw Rural Shadows podcast, I honestly thought that someone was doing like a country version of Urban Shadows.
That's what I thought too.
But no, it's something completely unrelated. So anyone out there, if you want to make your Urban Shadows hack that takes place in a small farm town, market's open.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah.
But we're not here to market other podcast ideas. We're here to tell you about our podcast. The one you're listening
Yeah.
to right now. And if you want to know more about our podcasts, you want to get in touch, in tune, get the 411, the deets, go to our webpage at badgertrove.com/literalcatpod. There you can find cool stuff about the show, some stuff about Joel and I, episodes. I think you can find the link to the character sheet stuff on there, all that stuff.
Now, for the record, I do not have individual, Badger Trove member profiles up on the site yet.
Oh.
We need to come up with, a format on what to actually post under that and all that, and we haven't got there yet.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Before this episode goes live? Probably not, so.
Absolutely not. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no. But yeah, either way, you can check out stuff about the show there.
Yeah, you can also go to most social media sites like Blue Sky or Tumblr, or are there other social media sites anymore?
TikTok, where we're going to upload that episode in 20 parts.
That's a joke from the future. You won't understand that reference yet.
You'll get it when you're older.
2 or 3 weeks older.
Yeah, just about.
Anyway. But yeah, follow us on Blue Sky, follow us on Tumblr. That is the best way at this point to stay up to date on what is going on with the show. If you would like to help us expand our audience, there are 2 things you could do. First, tell a friend. But let's be real. You would have done that already if you had the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So, the other thing that you can do is leave a rating or review on the podcast app of your choice. You can leave a review on Spotify. I know a decent portion of our audience is on Apple Podcasts. I know at this point Pocket Casts apparently has a rating system. If you know the site Good Pods, it's literally just a rating system.
Yep.
Go leave us a review somewhere.
Yeah.
If you don't have time to leave us a review, then leave us a rating.
Yeah, tell us how we're doing. And a rating is super easy. All you gotta do, click them stars.
Yeah, however many you think we deserve. Just remember, the higher that rating is, the more likely the algorithm is to recommend the show to people who like similar things to you.
Yeah. Now, if you want to find other people who like similar things to you, such as this podcast, you can join our Discord server.
Yeah, we have one of those. Go to badgertrove.com/Discord. It is, at this point, mostly focused on the podcast, but, Avalon and I also do our own, streaming thing, and we got a couple members of our audience from there. There's a couple people who hang out, which I guess that's what you do on a Discord server.
Yeah, just hanging out. But yeah, you can come hang out, say hi. Joel and I pop in to yap sometimes.
Yeah, I just ran a poll on there the other day.
I'm trying to think. I did answer the poll, and I was the only one to click on that poll choice.
Funny thing is, I ran the same poll on Tumblr. The votes went the opposite way.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to get in touch with other fans of the show, come on over. We'll be here.
Yeah. The other thing that you can and should do is email us pictures of your cat to literalcatpod@gmail.com. I think that's everything that we need to talk about for the show. Avalon, I know I mentioned that you stream. What is that stream?
You can go to twitch.tv/Avalon Alchemist. I'm still currently setting up my stream stuff. I have some things in place. I just need to get it tested and working and all that. So the real life grind has been insane this year. And it just it is not stopping. So I'm gonna have to do it. But if you want to find me on other spots, I'm mostly posting on Blue Sky right now. Also at Avalon Alchemist. So you can find me there. Joel, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky, Tumblr, Twitch, TikTok. Man, can you believe that just a couple years ago, all of those had T names? And now you just got Blue Sky that's the standout by not having a T name?
Yeah, it's a little odd.
I guess there's YouTube, which also is not a T name.
But it's usually abbreviated YT, so...
Yeah, but that's also what they call white people, so
That is true. But yeah, you mentioned all those sites. What's the input that they can do in the search bar?
Oh yeah, it's Omammer VT. I didn't say the name. Now I have, though. And so we can get you back to your episode.
Yep. Go enjoy the rest of not rural shadows, but rather urban.
Yeah, what's the opposite of rural?
I think urban.
Yeah, so go do that. I wonder if there's a podcast called Suburban Shadows.
Suburban Shadows.
It's a book series.
Oh.
Book 13 in a book series, to be precise.
Oh my, 13? That's too many books. Wrap it up, brother. You're done. Dear Lord.
Well, what are you gonna do?
Ambition if it ain't the crux of all the great tales.
A mysterious voice welcomes you to Monster Hour Arborealis, the smoky light through shuttered blinds illuminating an open City of Mist player's handbook.
When investigating the scene of a crime, a good detective must keep their wits about them. A few tips to keep in mind are, number 1, bring a good flashlight.
First question, do I see anyone in obvious danger?
Let me look and see if I have anything that helps me here.
Number 2, have a ginger snack before investigating.
Meet your players Archie,
I am preparing the bean.
Bo,
What? Who's calling me?
and Duff
Hello.
as they adventure to unravel the mysteries of the mist.
Number 3, no touching.
I would like to stuff into my pockets. No, I have a better idea. I squirt it all into my hair and kind of rub it around.
Isn't it sticky?
Yeah.
Call me old-fashioned, but I don't never believe in coincidence.
Monster Hour Arborealis is the third season of its namesake actual play. Tune in every other Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts.
Up next, we have our starting circles, which are up here on the sheet. We have Mortalis at 1, Knight at 1, Power at 0, and Wild at -1. I don't know how the status differs, but it looks like you can have up to 3 status with each circle, and Mortalis starts at 1 for us, I believe, because we are Mortalis.
I'd be willing to bet that's something like a faction rating.
I think it is. I'm assuming if you have a knight character that you start at, +1 knight status.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah, those are already there for us. It doesn't tell us to do anything.
we don't do anything else with the circles to start out with, I don't think. Now, on to our intro questions.
Actually, wait. The book does say, your playbook defines your character's starting circle ratings. Add +1 to any one of them and write the final numbers in the middle of your playbook.
Oh, yeah, it does tell us to do that. We almost skipped that. Good catch.
Yeah. Consider which circles your character might be entangled with when adding your +1. Is your specter entrenched in a phase court politics? Do you answer to a hunter who keeps your tainted on a short leash?
We are the hunter.
We are the hunter.
So we could either have higher standing with Mortalis, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Knight is like, just from the associated playbooks, elements of like the supernatural in terms of like things that go bump in the night, right?
Yes.
The vampires, the werewolves, the ghosts. Power was seemingly humans with powers.
Yeah. So like the wizard, the oracle, and then
The hunter? No, never mind. That's Mortalis. And then wild was like the fae, the imp, I think the tainted was a wild one. There's 3 of each.
So, since we're friendly, we could put Mortalis up 1, I think.
We could. I think we also have the ability to say that as a cat in this kind of situation, it might be a bit funny to put the point in wild, although that's really just turning a -1 to a 0.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be funny to imagine this cat having some kind of pre-existing relationship with the fae.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of how we'd swing that. Probably just like this cat obviously gets around at night or during the day too, and probably has encountered a lot of stuff in the wild to become a hunter,
Mm-hmm. I'm also just thinking as a cat, like, it could be that their social customs overlap in a certain way that just means they get along.
That actually is such a great point too. I think we should do it. I think 0 and wild, bump it up so we have like okay standing with them, and then like we're friendly. So obviously I think we could have a base standing with everybody, and then Mortalis and Knight is just our +1s.
Yeah. Like, I wanted to put the point in Knight, but like we already have a good standing with Mortalis and Knight. So like,
yeah.
Anyway, now we do the intro questions, or would you rather finish filling out the mechanic stuff next?
That's a good question. Let me look at the intro questions real quick. What personal tragedy led you to hunt? How long have you been in the city? What impressive kill are you infamous for? For those you hunt call you behind your back? Okay, I think we should probably do stat stuff first, because I feel like that will lead us into more specific answers for those questions, maybe.
Okay. Because we have to do our moves and decide stuff about our society, like mechanically speaking, and that might help us fill some of that stuff out.
Yeah.
So as for the hunter moves, we get 5 options and we have to choose, 6 options and we choose 3 of them.
Yes. This book already has Slayer checkmarked, and I don't know if that was intentional. I don't know if that's one you have to choose, because it just says choose 3 under the hunter moves.
Wait a minute. Slayer isn't an option on the Magpie Games one. On the Magpie Games character sheet, we have Deadly, Safe House, This Way, Worst Things Out Tonight, Prepared for Anything, and Watch Them Closely.
Oh yeah, watch them closely isn't on this sheet. Interesting.
I wonder if maybe once we finish, if it might be best to like transfer this stuff over to the official sheet, even though it's not form fillable. Just because if there is a difference, then we need to know that, right?
Yeah, we should have that. So I can swap everything over once we're done looking at this. So let's go through these moves. We have Deadly. When you inflict harm +1. You cannot choose to reduce this harm. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Safe House, I don't think is one that we should choose because we are a cat.
Yeah. Nah, because it's like, oh, you have a mystical or magical prison, high-tech surveillance, explosives. Yeah, no, I don't think that's a good fit.
This Way could be pretty good when working with others. When you lead people out of danger, roll with blood. And then on a 10, you all get away. On a 7 and 9, you get hurt or one of them gets hurt. You choose. And on a miss, everyone's safe but you. You're left behind and the way out is closed.
Okay, that could be good, yeah.
I think that'd be a fun one to play around.
I think on the same lines, Worst Things Out Tonight. When you persuade an NPC by promising that to protect them from harm, roll with blood instead of heart.
Ooh.
Like, I'm not the biggest threat to you out here tonight.
Yeah, I think that works.
So there's 2. We get 1 more.
Mm-hmm.
Prepared for Anything is a well-stocked armory. I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah.
Watch them closely. When you observe a supernatural person or creature, roll with blood. On a hit, the MC will tell you about their nature and at least one unusual weakness or flaw. I think we gotta do that one.
I think that one's very good, because cats are very well known for stalking their prey.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So those are our 3. We have This Way, Worst Things Out Tonight, and Watch Them Closely.
Next we have our society. You belong to a society of hunters, an affiliation of fellow mortals who stalk dangerous prey to protect the mortal world from the supernatural. Tell your MC to start up your society as a size 2, strength 2 faction within Mortalis.
I'm sorry, where are you reading this at?
On the playbook.
Oh, yeah, it is down here, huh?
That's our playbook feature, is the society.
Oh, okay. So...
The game master will handle that part, but, like, we need to decide what is our prey.
Okay.
And we got vampires, demons, angels, ghosts, or wizards.
Ooh. You know, we started this out thinking about a cat wizard, but what about a cat?
You want to make Solomon the wizard hunter?
Yeah, I kind of do.
Okay. Okay, I'm into it.
It's specifically wizards who abuse their power and authority. I think Solomon, he sees that and he just gets angry.
I'm into it. What did you sacrifice to join? My soul, forever tainted by magic. My family, forever excised from my life. My childhood, forever lost to my training. My body, forever scarred. Childhood seems fitting for a cat, right? Like,
yeah.
Assuming that, like, they would have had to have probably been trained from birth to take on this role.
Oh, absolutely. So I think childhood is just, I think we got it.
Yeah. And where does your society gather? You get an expensive hotel, a dive bar or gambling den, a union hall, or hallowed religious ground.
Ooh.
Being a group that take on a cat, I feel like it's either the dive bar or the religious ground.
Oh man, that's such a tough choice. I do love the idea of a bunch of, like, rednecks in a dive bar being like, these fucking suits in power have got too much going on for them. We need them to knock down a peg.
Send in the little one.
Send in Solomon. I think dive bar.
Okay. And, okay, just for anyone who's thinking of playing this, is our wizard hunter society a bunch of rednecks?
Yes. Absolutely. Think about if people suddenly started developing magical powers today. Number one, like the first people against that gotta be some rednecks with guns being like, they think they're all powerful because they can throw a fireball. I've got a fireball right here. And you pull out a cannon.
Or a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah.
Okay. I want everyone who's listening to this right now, the official uniform of this group is red flannel, one of those, like, hats that has the, like, ear flap things, and a double-barreled shotgun.
Yes. Everybody has exactly that on.
Yeah. Whenever you're at the bar, you see one of those guys, you know he's one of the order. You see the cats running around, they might be part of the order too.
You gotta find that out for yourself.
All these guys, though, they love cats. Like, they don't care how effeminate you think that makes them sound. They don't care. They have double-barreled shotguns. They are big, muscular men in flannel with double-barreled shotguns, and probably axes. Like, you think they care? You think that they are not masculine because they like cats?
That's something they would take unkindly to.
Yeah, you're getting kicked out at gunpoint. Lots of them. And bartender, guess what? He's got one too.
Always.
His is under the table, though, not on his back.
Yeah, no, you know he keeps that on that top shelf of the bar, like just underneath the actual top of it.
And now we get an arsenal. Choose 3 custom weapons for your hunt. Choose a base and 2 add-ons for each weapon. Oh, hey, good! Shotgun is an option for the ranged weapon.
It sure is. Can we use a shotgun, is the problem.
Let's see. I'm trying to look at the add-ons to see if I can find anything that would let this play out. I can't see a thing that would justify that, is the problem.
Yeah.
But I also can't see any way around the shotgun, right?
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. This is probably breaking rules because this is my own interpretation.
Hey, if we gotta write down a broken rule, we gotta write down a broken rule.
True. But if we added ornate/antique to it, essentially special made, you know?
Oh.
For a cat. So we kind of sacrifice that add-on, but it makes the gun usable for us.
All right. So ornate and cold iron, which is magically resistant.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we're wizard hunters.
So we have a shotgun,
which is 2 harm, close, loud, reload, and messy.
And we get 2 more custom weapons.
We can also have another ranged weapon, or we can have a hand weapon.
Okay, we have a staff, a whip, a chain, and a half. I'm gonna have to look up what a half's.
I think it's supposed to be staff.
Is it?
The options on the official Urban Shadows one from Magpie Games are club, chain, knife, staff, and sword.
Oh, yeah, this one has different base weapons down there. Also, I'm looking up haft, and the haft is just the handle of a weapon.
Yeah, that's strange.
What are we thinking?
Chain stands out to me as 1 harm, close area, exhausting. Also, if you have a chain and you wrap it around someone who might need to wave their arms or something to cast a spell.
True.
Remember, we're wizard hunters.
I like that.
All right.
So we could do chain, magically resistant, obviously, and
collapsible or exclusive, which would make it a booby trap weapon. So we're not actually carrying this around. We're planting a trap, which might make more sense for our character.
Yeah, true. Using booby trap stuff in hunting makes sense. I like that. And 1 more.
Knife.
I was also thinking knife.
I like the idea of giving this cat a collapsible... Oh man, I can't decide between also making it cold iron, making it famous, or making it enchanted.
I was thinking silvered in case we have to deal with something that can only be damaged by silver.
Oh yeah, because even though we set out to hunt wizards, there are still vampires out there.
Yeah, we have to be prepared for something else to come along.
Okay, that's fair.
Which one do you think we should add?
Collapsible.
Collapsible? Okay.
For concealment. Makes it so that this cat can just carry around like a pocket knife, like as a switchblade that it can just, drop, pop open, wield in its mouth or something.
Yeah, and then tuck away.
Exactly.
Love that.
Yeah, so there's that. And now we can get back to the intro questions.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't think we have to answer all of these. it wouldn't make sense to answer some of them with the backstory we've chosen.
Yeah.
What personal tragedy led you to hunt? Doesn't make sense. We were trained from birth.
Yep.
How long have you been in the city? Since birth. Being trained to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
What impressive kill are you infamous for? Now, this could be something.
Yeah. Ooh.
What wizard fell by our hand?
Yeah. Oh, man.
The Immortal Merlin.
The Immortal Merlin. Not so immortal now, idiot. We could do that. I was thinking, like, what if it was, like, maybe not somebody, like, huge, but big enough to obviously be infamous. What if it was, like, the leader of, like, a magic guild?
Maybe.
I mean, Merlin could be the leader of that guild, you know?
Could be. So, like, my only issue with that is that would potentially give us a negative reputation with power, which we don't have.
Oh, true.
So, like, I don't think it can be a faction leader. I think this has to be a rogue wizard.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So are we saying Merlin the Immortal, this rogue wizard that got crazy with power, and we're just like, yo, stop that, or I will stop you?
I think it's literally Merlin from King Arthur lore, who is still alive because no living human man could kill him, right? Mm-hmm. So they trained a cat to do it. You know, it's like one of those things, it's like, oh, no living man can kill me.
But what about a cat, sir?
Well, one's never tried. Okay, be back in 3 years.
It's like, ooh, Merlin, I suddenly have other things to deal with. I'm going to leave you to it. Immediately goes to his favorite dive bar. Guys, you will not believe what I learned today.
Man, why'd you even think to ask that?
I don't know.
Who cares? We got work to do.
Merlin's been around for a long time, you know. I just figured he probably wasn't asked that. You got to think of interesting questions when you're with an immortal, otherwise they just don't care to talk to you.
Yeah.
It's like, I had this exact conversation back in 1702. All right. So, other questions. The two left on here are, what do those you hunt call you behind your back? And then, who inflicted the wound that still haunts you?
I feel like we wouldn't have, like, necessarily a bunch of scars or anything, right? We didn't choose anything that would suggest that.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if we're just fresh off that one thing, the one thing we were destined to do. Do we have a reputation for killing any wizard besides Merlin?
Probably not. Yeah, I like the idea of this being, like, fresh off the boat, essentially. Like, we did this and now they're like, oh my god, this Solomon can actually do it. Like, we need to get him out there, you know?
Yeah, like, Merlin may not have been his first kill, but, like, probably the only noteworthy thing he's done.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we probably don't have a name that we're getting called behind our back, and then who inflicted the wound that still haunts you, probably don't have a good answer.
Yeah. Now, on to our starting debts. I don't see that there's a place to write that, so I'm guessing it just goes in notes.
I would assume so.
I'm trying to find what the book says about debts.
Yeah, okay. It's down here on page 68. Once each character has been fully introduced, assign starting debts. Begin with the person to the left of the MC and go around the circle, each player reading aloud one of the starting debts listed on their playbook, and then assigning another character to that debt. Okay, so this is done with the group, it sounds like.
Yeah, that's not us.
That ain't me.
Yeah, we don't do that one.
Alright. We do still have starting gear to go over that we'll probably need to mess around with. So, our starting gear is a shitty apartment. That's literally what it says on the book.
Yeah.
A pickup truck or muscle car. Do we? A cell phone and then a symbol of your society, i.e. a tattoo, a coin, an inscription, what have you.
Okay, but we could literally just live up above the bar.
I mean, yeah, I think that is our shitty apartment. Obviously, somebody in this bar has had Solomon since birth to train him, so...
I think we're the only member of this group, actually, that doesn't have a pickup truck.
Yeah, everybody else absolutely has a pickup truck. That is the car for this group. I'm going to put living with the dive bar owner for the shitty apartment part.
Okay, so that's 3 rules we've broken.
Yes. Do we have a cell phone?
Maybe rule 3 doesn't have truck, it's reduced starting gear.
Okay, yeah, that works. Now, a symbol of your society, I think we absolutely can do. I love the idea of it being a coin, and they just popped it on their collar.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know what it is? They got one of those penny press machines at the bar.
Okay, but what's on the pennies, though? What does it press them into?
I think it puts... If you just do the normal one, then it's gonna be something dumb, right? It's gonna be like... What do they even put on those things? Like, probably the bar's logo.
Oh, I know. It's got... Hold on.
But if you know, like, a specific order of operations to press buttons and levers and stuff on there, if you know the specific order of operations to activate it, it will print out a special one that just looks to the average person like a beer logo, like what you've got pulled up right now, but it's actually the initials of the founding members.
Ooh, I like that. What should those initials be?
Good question. What should their names be? I feel like it's 3 guys.
It's got to be 3 guys. It's always 3 guys.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Thomas
of, like,
is one of them. I don't know why, but one of them is Thomas.
Thomas, okay. So we got T.
Nathaniel.
Okay. I'm trying to think of like a stereotypical like redneck name.
Jeremiah.
Alright, I dig it. So what was T again?
Thomas, Nathaniel, Jeremiah.
Thomas, Nathaniel, Jeremiah. The T and J. JNT? NTJ.
JTN.
JTN? JTN, pronounce Jathan.
Jathan. The Jathan Society. No.
The Jathan.
I feel like they have a name, but all the members just call it the name of the bar, which...
Yeah. Should we make up a name for the bar?
Yeah, it's like the Cat and Cobra or something like that. I don't know.
The Cat and Cobra. I like that. I was gonna say, like, what are the old, like, raccoon skin hats called? We're not calling it that. Never mind.
I mean, do they just call him, like, the Davy Crockett hat or something?
Oh, true. Oh, what's the name of the hat that's got the flaps on it that we were talking about that everybody wears?
Called, like, a trapper's hat.
Ushanka. Trappers.
I don't think that a bunch of American rednecks are going to call their bar the Ushanka.
Yeah, no. So if it's just a trapper's hat, we could have it be like a...
Trapper's Tails.
I was going to say the trapper's tap.
Oh, that's better. Do that.
Okay. Sick.
All right, and that, I think, is all we can do.
I think so, yeah. We did it kind of out of order, but,
It's fine. I think we did it in the order we needed to fill out our characterization.
Oh, absolutely. I think the delaying the intro cues kind of helped become more, give us more insight into the character.
Yeah, I feel like we learned a lot more from deciding how our society operated than we did from answering the intro question.
Yeah.
Which, that's fine. Like, it all works out.
Yeah.
We've got so many role-playing cues from this still.
Yeah, and again, to the listeners, that works for us. If you do it in a different order or in the recommended order, then yeah, go for it. Whatever helps you.
Exactly.
Create the character that you want to play.
That's all that matters at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess let's just go over this real quick. We did break 3 rules. First off, the hunter is supposed to be a human. I think most of these have the assumption that you are going to be human or human-like. Even the ghost is supposed to be, I think, a human ghost. The specter, whatever it's called.
Yep. I'm assuming the same goes for the wolf, too. It's probably more werewolf-oriented.
So then we modified the shotgun tag so that the one that was, like, arguing that it was ornate or custom built means that it was custom built for a cat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we removed a couple of items from the starting gear that it made no sense for a cat to have.
Yeah. Also, looking up the definition of ornate, I think fits perfectly to made in an intricate shape or decorated with complex patterns.
Yeah, it's
the intricate shape part.
Yeah, it was made specifically so that a cat could pull the trigger.
All right, cool.
I think someone has to help them, like, hold it still. Like, it is still a shotgun, but...
Yeah, they gotta have some help somewhere.
It's like, this is not a weapon, and this might be a thing to note. This is not a weapon the cat can use without help.
Yeah, I can put that down here.
Alright, but yeah, those are our broken rules. With that out of the way, Avalon, do you have a cat pun for us?
I do. Let me pull it up here. This one's kind of specific, so if you don't know what this is, sorry for your loss, I guess. What's a cat's first choice for a convention?
Katsucon?
It is Katsucon!
Well, there you go, everyone.
You got it in one, Joel.
I got it in one, guys.
But, alright, yeah. Cat creation done. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap, everyone. Thank you for listening.